few requests coming through recently. If you want to make a request, either comment on my video or email me boxinggossip@gmail.com. This particular request reads as follows. What, in your opinion, is Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s best in-ring performance? And do you think he could fight in a similar fashion to gain victory against Manny Pacquiao on May 2nd? Let me answer the second part of the question first. The fight that I believe represents Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s best performance probably isn't overly relevant in terms of the Manny Pacquiao fight, because it was a fight from quite a long time ago. It was a fight in a drastically different weight division, and it was a fighter who fought Mayweather using very different tactics to how I anticipate Manny Pacquiao fighting Mayweather. So, the answer to the second part of the question, do I think that this performance is the way to beat Manny Pacquiao? No. I think Floyd Mayweather's going to have to show further versatility because it's a very different challenge. But getting to the first point, what do I think Floyd's best performance is? In my opinion, it's his super featherweight title fight against Diego Corrales. Now, I know a lot of Floyd haters detract from this by saying there's a few sort of common objections. Corrales was weight drained. Corrales was facing jail, so his mind wasn't fully on the fight. Corrales had a parried record anyway, so it wasn't too big a deal to actually get the win over him. How true any of those things are, the honest answer is that the average boxing fan like me sitting at home doesn't really know. We know that Diego Corrales did struggle with his weight, but he made it clear he was still capable of hitting the weight limit to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. And we do know that, you know, he was in trouble with the law, but how can we really suggest, how can we really ascertain what impact that had on the fight? What I can say is, regardless of Diego Corrales' performance, Floyd was facing an opponent who was unbeaten, who was a world champion, or at least had been a world champion and was still undefeated, and was much bigger than him. Corrales not only had a height and probably a reach advantage, but he also had a 10-pound weight advantage on fight night. Yet Floyd was absolutely and unequivocally dominant. The fight went 10 rounds before being stopped by Corrales' corner. It is, in my opinion, not possible to score Corrales, an undefeated fighter, a single round out of the 10 that they shared a ring together. Now, Floyd Mayweather, not the biggest puncher in boxing history, but he knocked down Corrales, who outweighed him by 10 pounds, as I say, and came into the ring that night as a welterweight, you know. He knocked him down 5 times, all in all. And what we saw from Floyd Mayweather was above and beyond what we've gone to expect from him recently. You know, we all know that Floyd is a master counterpuncher. We all know that he's an absolutely elite defensive fighter. But in this fight, he showed that as an offensive fighter, he has extreme capabilities as well. The hand speed, you know, the speed gap between these two men is visible from the first bell. The footwork and the movement is vintage Floyd. I think it's one of the best pure boxing performances I've ever seen. You know, Floyd literally running rings around his opponent. His opponent doing the typical sort of big man tactic, trying to get him and position him in the corner. Floyd is so elusive, you know, the way Floyd bends, the way Floyd turns, the angles Floyd uses, the way he's able to step and to sort of avoid Corrales. The amount of times in the fight where Floyd is able to spin, angle off the ropes and sort of leave Corrales for dead and put a huge amount of space between the two men is absolutely impressive. You know, the Floyd Mayweather jab, so accurate. I think the punch stats in this fight are very, very telling. Not just with Floyd's own accuracy, but the inaccuracy he draws from Corrales. I mean, Floyd's elusiveness creates that inaccuracy. And, you know, the Mayweather jab, he's dancing all around Corrales and he's throwing jabs high, jabs to the body. The jab to the body in this fight is a real weapon. And here we see that Floyd is a guy who can fight, you know, using body punches. I mean, people sort of ignore that element to his game, but we see him throwing hooks to the body. We see him constantly with a jab to the body, you know, double jab to the body, gets Corrales to drop his hands, then changes levels. Really advanced stuff going on. And, you know, this performance for me is Floyd's best because it represents boxing perfection and a boxing masterclass, both offensively and defensively. You know, the punch variety from Floyd was really impressive. Two weapons you see from him. Sometimes he leads with a right cross. Sometimes he leads with a left hook. You know, and it's that lead left hook that sort of drops Corrales. I think it drops him twice in the 7th round. And it almost is. It's a similar punch. Obviously, different fighters, different sizes, different power. But it's a similar punch to the punch that Vladimir Klitschko has been using with such effectiveness against Povetkin, against Pulev. You know, Floyd throws a fast lead left hook and it catches the opponent by surprise. He's then varying it up with a lead right-hand cross. You've then got a jab, which is constant, doubling it, trebling it up, changing levels, going to the body, going high. Keeps the opponent guessing. You know, Corrales doesn't know whether he's coming or going. And you've got Floyd constantly, you know, mixing it up with immense punch variety. He's going to the body with power punches. He's throwing to the head with lead power punches. You know, the speed is there. It's a real fascinating performance. And if you combine it with the movement Floyd's showing, it really is, you know, absolutely spectacular. For me, it is the ultimate Floyd Mayweather performance. Defensively, so sound. It represents Floyd's movement, defensive movement and defensive reflexes at their absolute height. You know, combined with his sort of angles and his blocking when he's up against the ropes, he takes very little clean. And offensively, he shows that he's the real deal as well. I think his uncle was training him for this fight, and his uncle was going through a process of trying to make him more offensively aggressive, and, you know, not just be a defensive master like his father maybe wanted him to be, but also wanted to bring out that sort of, you know, offensive arsenal that he knew Floyd Jr. had. So I think you get that. More recently, you know, Floyd doesn't, you know, it's almost 2 decades ago, that fight now. Floyd doesn't have the same legs that he had there. He probably doesn't have as much power at 147. Well, certainly doesn't as he was carrying at 130 against much smaller opponents. And because of that, that's why I answer the second part of the question in the negative. You know, this isn't really worthwhile form in terms of how he's going to beat Pacquiao. Obviously, Diego Corrales, Pacquiao, different levels of opponent, different attributes, several different weight classes. But for me, in terms of Floyd Mayweather at his finest, it's where you see it in this Diego Corrales fight. And you realise what a well-rounded athlete, fighter he is. I urge everyone to watch that fight. I urge everyone to take a second look at it. And I'd be fascinated if anyone can pick out any sort of weakness or any sort of lack of completeness in Floyd's game from that fight. Let me know your thoughts. Many thanks for watching.